Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Reinventing Cool. I'm your host, Maria Ensabella, the founder of LondonCryo. On this podcast, I aim to talk to my guests throughout the process of their cryotherapy session, so you can get a behind-the-scenes look into the whole process while getting to know the guests better. And on today's episode, we have Giacomo Farci. Giacomo is a celebrity trainer, author of Strong, and he recently had a hip replacement. Giacomo will be speaking to us about how he's recovered so quickly from his hip replacement, and it's not only been due to his training before he had the operation, but also after, and how cryotherapy and cold treatment in particular has helped with his recovery. Today's guest on the podcast is Giacomo Farci. He is a celebrity trainer as well as an author of the book Strong, and also recently had a hip replacement, so he's going to talk to us a little bit about that today as well. So welcome, Giacomo. How are you?
Thank you, Maria. Hi, how are you? Hello, everybody.
So today I want to start with for you to explain a little bit about yourself and your journey into the fitness industry. You came from Italy and now you're in the UK, so I'll let you take over from there.
It's a long story, but I will cut it short.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm from Sardinia, Italy.
Yes.
I heard you've been in Sardinia.
Yes, of course. Love Sardinia, yes.
And I tried many sports since I was a sporty boy, and from judo to football to basketball to martial arts. I found myself, since I was a teenager, probably 15, 16 years old, to be attracted to the preparation to the game or to the competition, more than actually playing the game or the competition.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've been training my friends and teammates and tried different techniques, different systems, different diets. And yeah, I always put people together to train, to deliver better for the game or for the sport. I'm a martial artist, so I used to compete, and that shaped the way I still train my clients, so more in a functional way, and looking for to achieve a pain-free body, and with reasonably lean and able to have a good life between chores and career and family dynamics and friends and social life. Yeah. After I got my bachelor in science sport degree, I moved to Rome.
Yes.
Where I started to work in Virginity, Italy, and that was an interesting experience for me, because working for a corporate gym taught me how to manage my diary, my time, and how to work towards daily and weekly and monthly targets, something that they don't teach you at uni. At the same time, I was training a group of children between 8 and 12, and I was working for a house of elderly people. Average age was 84. It, I think, gave me a different perspective about training and health, because now I believe we should try and not just to reach the late years of our life in whatever shape, but actually in the best possible shape, so with a pain-free body and a sharp mind. After 2 years, I felt Rome was too small again. Yes. So I needed a new challenge, and I wanted to put myself out of the comfort zone. And I moved to London, where I started to work in Virginity, UK, despite I never studied English. That was the drama. Yes. I remember I used to go around in the gym floor in Virginity Moorgate with a dictionary, because I couldn't understand what my customers were asking me. Yes. Anyway, after 1 year, I was quite fully booked. I had a good business, and then but a big crisis came over, credit crunch. So we lost a lot of clients because I was working with mainly bankers and lawyers. Yes. I lost big clients. One of them was doing 25 hours a month with me, so pretty much he was paying my rent. Wow. So that was a bit okay. So I had to put the head down and kind of start again and picking up different type of clients from different environments, so not just from the city. I became busy again, and we opened with 3 other friends a personal training studio. So that was the next step in my career, moving from corporate to a private studio. And we sold just before the pandemic, so just in time. Right. But during the first years, while managing the studio, I started to pick up different type of clients that didn't want to join big gyms Okay, they didn't want to be tied up with the memberships, and they were mainly producers. And that's how I started to work with the movie industry. So because of the good results the producers had with me, they started to give me work. So training actors, script writers, and directors. That's the step I made. And then the next crisis came, the pandemic. So,
yes.
I had to adapt again because obviously most of my clients were confined home. They couldn't leave despite they had equipment and space. But obviously training home, you know, when your children run around is not motivating. So I started to do what I was asked for many years and never really wanted to try, which is online training.
Right.
And during the first lockdown, I started to do half an hours, quick, sweet half an hours with my clients.
Yes.
And despite my income disappeared overnight during the lockdown, I managed to create a new way of working.
Yes.
That is not, I don't love, I have to say, online. I still prefer the one-to-one because I like holding pads. I like,
of course,
to correct physically the client. There is nothing, you cannot really swap the one-to-one relationship with the online relationship.
Exactly.
But I had to adapt, and still now I deliver a few online clients. I picked up clients from Finland or the US, Singapore. So I still keep a bit of a few online clients just in case something else might happen again. Okay.
Let's hope we never have anything.
But hopefully now we are going back to a normality.
Because what I found with me, if I can just say, is that, you know, when the pandemic hit, I'm very much a one-to-one person. I love my classes. I love one-to-one. Love training with you, Giacomo, right? And that's how we met. Also through my partner who did, you know, some martial arts stuff with you, and then, you know, I've come along and I fell in love with training with you in that way as well. And but it was quite interesting because I am, you know, like to do things in person. But then when the pandemic happened and everything went online, I threw myself into that because I love training. I think it's really important.
It's a different way of communication.
It is, yeah. And it was important to keep yourself motivated during that period of time as well.
We should really develop new skills, no? Because I've never been really good, online or video chat. I had to adapt.
Yeah,
and now it became more natural.
Yeah, exactly. But I found now that we're out of that pandemic is that, like, I need to go back to the one-to-one because I find it's really important. Like, even when we had our session, you're able to, although I've improved a lot, you've been able to correct me and stuff to make sure the technique is correct.
It's surely easier to train online clients who have training history. You have very long, amazing training history. It's difficult when you teach lunges or squat to someone that never did anything. Online is very difficult. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Do you find that some of the online now have gone, you know, if there was their first time online with you, have they started in person or are they sticking to the online still? I still have clients online that I never met. Oh, really? It's very, very strange. Interesting. Yeah, someone told you from Finland, from Singapore, I never met them. Someone from South England also. Never met them. It's very strange. Yes. But it is what it is right now. It is, exactly. And hopefully at some point we all go back to just training in person and stuff. Absolutely, you know, it's more social and stuff. It's more important. And so something just before the pandemic hit, you released a book called Strong. Ah, yes. Do you want to show us that? A book? Casually here. Yes. You can get it on Amazon. The title is a bit deceiving, and because it's not a book about strength and conditioning. It's not a book actually about training. It's a book about daily productivity. Yes. The pun is because I do believe that to stick to our training routine, to our nutrition, and to stick to a good sleeping timetable. Yes. We should try to keep physically, emotionally, and mentally strong. Yes. Okay, so you will find more. I totally agree. In the book, and then there is a pun because I train Mark Strong, and he wanted to write my foreword. So it was interesting and fun at the same time. I wanted to call this book Strong, and Mark Strong wrote the foreword of the book. Yes. Yes. The book I think origins from my trying to understand why, since I was a teenager, I was training for some competition or football match or whatever. I felt like I don't want to do the training session. Yes, I have the time, but I don't feel like. Yes. Or sometimes I know how to eat, but I don't I don't want to eat that way. I want to eat something naughty or something
Yes.
else. I always try to understand why I cancel a training session despite I have the time, or why I don't eat a certain way despite I have options. I
Yes.
can eat a certain.
If I can say, it's a way of keeping you accountable, right? So if you've got it written down, it allows you to be accountable for, you know, not only to yourself, but if you're sharing that with your personal trainer, for example, they can see, you know, what you're eating and then what triggers,
Exactly.
you know, what your triggers are to make sure that you are eating properly and that you are continuing to train, right?
Very
because
good.
the whole consistency and becoming a habit is what keeps you going, right? So,
Yeah,
and that's when you
book-
achieve your goals.
The book Strong is it's a collection of the tools and systems that I learned
Yes.
from myself, trying
Yeah.
to analyze the way I was behaving, and what I learned from my clients, very high successful achievers.
Yes.
And what I discover helps to keep consistency with my training sessions, with my nutrition,
Yep.
and how I can help my clients to keep consistency with their routine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Consistency is key.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, that's what they say, and I totally agree. So, Jack, let's talk about wellness and what wellness means to you.
I think wellness is a state of well-being that is affected by your physical health, mental health, and emotional health.
And they all have to come together,
Yes.
right? Yes.
So I believe in sound mind, in sound body. For sound body, I believe we should all aim to have a pain-free body, as we said earlier.
Yes. Yeah.
A body which is reasonably lean, because now we know that body fat is linked with cardiovascular diseases
Yes.
and cancer, and anyway even COVID.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So less chance for the body to get ill, to get inflamed,
Yes.
to not be able to respond to the illness.
Yeah.
And a body reasonably flexible to avoid injuries.
Yeah.
With a certain amount of muscle mass, also because with
Yep.
age, as you know, because of the sarcopenia, we lose muscle mass.
Correct.
And yes, quality sleep,
Yes.
I think, is very important.
Yep.
Very important.
Very important.
And yes, I think quality sleep and feeling fit, being fit,
Yep.
affect also my mental health and my emotional health.
Yes.
So everything is connected. So I always
Yeah.
try to be reasonably fit, to put training and eating well and sleeping as priorities
Yes.
in my day,
So do I.
in my life.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's really important. And Jack, do you think that's also, so if we can talk about, you recently had a hip replacement as well, which
Yes.
is quite unusual in my opinion for
I'm too
someone
young
so
for that.
young. I know, exactly, that's
Yes.
my point. You're way too young to be having her hip replacement. But do you feel that you've been able to recover? Because to see, I've watched you on your journey while you've gone through this, and to see you recover so quickly, what do you think it's come down to, making sure that you've made all these things a priority?
It came down to I had a very good surgeon, which
Yes,
is key.
that helps,
I
yeah.
had Sarah Muirhead, that she's one of the top. She did Prince Philip and
Yes.
Andy Murray's
Yes,
hips.
that's correct.
So I had a great surgeon, and genetics. I think I had good
Yes.
genetics, which
Yep.
is important,
Yep.
and luck, because infection is one of the bigger danger immediately after
Right.
the surgery. I've been lucky
Right.
at the end of it.
Yeah.
Rejection of the prosthetic
yeah.
from the body. So
Of course.
apart from that, I couldn't control that.
Yes.
The other factors that I just mentioned.
Yep.
I could control just my preparation,
Yes.
mental, physical preparation to the surgery. So for the 2 months prior to the surgery,
Yep.
I trained. At the time, I knew the surgery was pretty much 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m. So for 2 months, I trained every day at a time.
Yep.
I took the surgery like a fight.
Yes.
So I pretty much did a
I love
boot
that.
camp. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to lose weight, so I lost 5 kilograms.
Right.
I wanted to be super lean for
Yes.
the surgery, but
Yep.
not stressed.
No, of course.
Good
Yeah.
lean. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I reinforced. I trained the muscles that I knew would be distressed after the operation.
Yes.
I knew my surgeon wouldn't cut any muscle. She's famous to make space in the joint without they stretch the muscles very very hard with special
Right.
techniques, but without cutting anything.
Yeah.
But I knew my muscles would be stretched and very weak for a few weeks.
Yes.
One of the problems is early dislocation after the
Right.
operation. So I train my adductors, abductors, and glutes,
Yes.
and flexors, very well, and I think that made me recover way faster.
Yes.
Now it's seven months after operation. I'm back into running. I couldn't run for 3 years prior to the surgery. I'm back into kickboxing, so something that I really missed for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's funny because my relationship with cold changed immediately after the surgery, because as you know, we are friends. We've been friends for a long time. I never liked cold much.
That's right.
And my first cryotherapy session in Los Angeles was not the best experience. I didn't love it.
Yep.
Probably because we've been queuing for a long time in the sun outside.
Yes.
Many factors, but mainly because I never liked cold much.
Yes. Yeah.
But as part of my rehab prescribed by the surgeon, there was using as much ice pack as possible. So I regularly how do you say?
You regularly.
I regularly applied ice packs three times a day.
Yep.
For weeks. I noticed my swollen hip was reducing quicker than expected. I was reabsorbing various liquids and much faster.
Yes.
So I thought, I always knew that cold.
Yes.
It's anti-inflammatory and helps.
Correct.
Because I also watched Holmes, the other cryotherapy guys, and yes, I never really tried hard. This time I tried hard. It worked. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm looking forward today to see how my hip reacts to the
cryo session.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So thank you, Giacomo, for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
As you know, as a guest on the show, we're going to get you ready now to do a cryotherapy session with us.
All right. Looking forward to it.
See you in the cryo room. So Jack, what are you hoping to get from your cryotherapy session today?
Today I'm curious to see how my new hip and the scar will react after the session.
Fantastic. So let's get you in there. I'm just going to pre-cool the machine and get started.
Let's do it.
Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to pre-cool the machine down to minus 100 degrees. I'll open the door.
How much?
Minus 100,
wow.
But it'll get colder when you're in there.
All right.
So there's a platform inside. You'll step onto the platform. Your head will be above the cabin, so we'll be able to speak through the experience. Perfect. Okay? So, step onto the platform. If you take your bathrobe off and pass it to me over the top, Giacomo. Grazie. Yep, thank you. Yep, put your hands in prayer position. Are you feeling okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay? Okay. You happy to keep going? Yep, okay. You know it's going to help reduce inflammation in the body. It's just because of the vapor when it comes out. It's also good for the heart and good energy. Please take another quarter of a turn. Sorry, I'm just going to keep checking in just to make sure you're okay.
I'll get through.
You will get through. It's mind over matter, right? That's more, and it's all about coming out of your comfort zone when you do things like this, right? Jack, take a quarter of a turn for me. You're doing really well. Are you happy to continue?
Yes, I am.
Very good. And you've got just over a minute to go, Giacomo, so you're nearly there, okay? Please, nearly there. Please take another quarter of a turn. If you lift your arms all the way, show me those biceps, lift your arms all the way up. 30 seconds. Can you do another 30 seconds? Yeah. Another quarter of a turn. You're doing amazing, Giacomo. Well done. 25 seconds. And just think you can get me back when we do the next kickboxing session, okay?
Absolutely, yes.
20 seconds to go. Another quarter of a turn. 15 seconds, Giacomo. Super.
It's actually better now.
10 seconds. I wonder why you think it's better now, because you've adjusted to it? Yeah. 3, 2, and 1. There you go, there's your bathrobe. I'm going to open the door slightly so you can put your bathrobe on. Jack, that's amazing, you did it.
Already finished?
Yes. And you're still alive.
How does the titanium react to the cold?
It actually doesn't react. If anything, it helps with any inflammation that there may be around it.
Very good. Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you did that. So Jack, I know this was really important for you to do. Really, you stepped out of your comfort zone, which is what this podcast is all about, is getting people to step out of their comfort zone.
Try something new.
Try something new. And now how do you feel that you've done your cryotherapy session after a long time?
Well. The hip feels very well.
Yep.
And I noticed the first minute was difficult because I need to pace myself probably.
Yep.
When I swapped the focus from the cold to actually my breathing got much better. So I started to breathe deep and everything relaxed. I felt, I know it sounds strange, but a bit warmer.
Oh,
So
it
I
is.
think the key for the next time I will try,
Yeah.
I will focus on my breathing since the first seconds.
Because what we tell people when they do say they're still scared to try, and of course it's really cold, it's the unknown, but it's more once you're in there and you've done it, you realise it's mind over matter. So what you say is really relevant, is to getting people to try.
So I was
just
holding my
focus.
breathing, I was very cold. When I started to relax, to breathe, I focused on 3 seconds in, 3 seconds down, everything changed. So I think that's the thing I should focus next time.
Amazing.
Yes.
So what would you tell people that are still sitting on the fence about trying cryotherapy?
I would say get out of your comfort zone like I did. I don't like cold, but now I will give another try because I feel well, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for being a guest with us today. Thank you, Giacomo.